We call it people technology.
Well, it's just been that kind of IPL. At least the second leg of this 2021 edition has been. It's another 160 odd score. 165 is in the top three scores of teams batting first in the UAE leg of IPL 2021. We're not seeing those 180s, 200s, no matter what sort of started openers might give you, even if it was the kind that Venkatesh Iyer did. This is Maruti Suzuki presents ESPN Cricket for T20 timer. Dale Steyn and Sanjay Manjrekar to make sense of the Kolkata Knight Riders innings 165. It's always these sorts of targets that make this question a tough one for my guests, Sanjay, whether KKR are the happier team or would Punjab say, oh, that's not bad.
With Punjab Kings, recent form, Kolkata won't be too, what should I say,
Displeased.
pessimistic
Yeah.
about the chances,
Yeah.
yeah, of winning this game. So they'll go in with belief. Their bowling attack, especially the spin element, is outstanding. They're missing Russell and, of course, now Lockie Ferguson, which is a huge setback. But coming back to these scores, I think today I had a look at the pitch report. It was, I think, Simon Dool and Kevin Peterson. I rate Simon Dool very highly when it comes to reading pitches, and he said it's a fantastic pitch. And when you have had Nitish Rana batting, Venkatesh and Tripathi for a while, it looked like a 180, 190 pitch. So what we are seeing, the scores of 160, very often it's related to the kind of pitch and the surface that we have here. But today, it was also a case that we're seeing right through the IPL with various teams, but there are at least three batters woefully out of form per side. And maybe that is the reason why the juggernaut doesn't sort of carry on through the 20 overs.
Yeah, I mean, if I just look at the numbers and I don't watch the game, Dale, it almost seems like, oh, batting seems so much easier in the first 7, 8 overs, or maybe even in the first half, and then something goes wrong in the second. How much of that is down to conditions, and how much of that is just down to the form of individuals, like Sanjay points out?
I think Sanjay is spot on. It just boils down to form, really. We've seen a lot of the top order batters be in a bit of form, and we haven't seen those end overs, like those 18, 19, 20 overs, going for big runs yet. And that's because the guys that are coming in the middle order to the back end, they just haven't fired, and names that jump to my mind immediately are Russell, AB de Villiers, these kind of guys, even DK, who can really play these paddles and get going and score runs. None of these guys, and they're all from different teams, have managed to get those runs in the back end. And that's the difference between scoring 165 and 190 or 185 or 187, somewhere there, that looks more on par. Because at halfway, at the 10 over mark, I mean, I thought Kolkata were not cruising, but they were on their way to a really good score. But 165, with their bowling lineup and the way that their spinners are bowling, they will fancy their chances.
Remember, it is a bowling lineup without Russell, without Lockie Ferguson today. But I'd like to still go deeper into this conversation of trying to make sense of these scores. How much of this is one? A lot of these guys who are used to getting big runs, Sanjay, are getting on a bit. Maybe bowlers are getting smarter. Or do you think conditions are still playing a big part here, where it's not as easy to come in and strike the ball right away if you're coming in the last 4 or 5, even if you are Kyron Pollard or Hardik Pandya or AB de Villiers?
It's a combination of both, and more because of the surfaces and less because of current form and ability. Now, today was a case of the pitch being perfectly all right. I think it looks a good pitch. But you're looking at Morgan, Dinesh Karthik, and Seifert, failing. Now, DK, not at his prime, slightly out of form. Morgan, woefully out of form. So they faced a combined 17 balls, these three guys, and they got 15. Morgan at his prime, would have got at a strike rate of 150, 160. Dinesh Karthik, if he had one of those cameos, he would have gone at 180. And then you're looking at 180, 190 on a pitch like this. And Nitish Rana showed us towards the end as well that it's a pitch that you can score off. I mean, the kind of shots that he played, he got 31 of 18. So today was a case of a team like Mumbai Indians also, where players are out of form. Rishabh Pant, for example, all those finishers are struggling. Guys who are batting at 4, 5, 6. We have seen nothing from Huda, and the list is long. Every team has got that issue. Puran hasn't fired, so these guys have all just gone off form, and that also is another reason why we're not seeing the 190s and 200s.
I'd like to also
Yeah.
put forward maybe one other thing that we observed in last year's IPL. A lot of batters who batted through the innings and managed to take scores higher. KL Rahul has done it. Rohit Sharma's done it. I think Ruturaj Gaikwad got 88 in the opening day against Mumbai in a chase. After that, we're not seeing those 80s, 90s from even the openers who bat through. We're seeing a lot of these 30s from Nitish Rana, from Shimron Hetmeyer, Dale, 20s or so that change, but they don't hang on either. Now, how do you make sense of that?
Yeah.
Sometimes one batter bats more and gets a big score.
Yeah, I can't make sense of it. I promise you, I can't. I mean, I'm a fisherman, and I often go fishing, and sometimes you catch a lot of small fish before you catch a big fish, and it's the same thing. Yeah, there's a lot of small scores without any big scores actually coming right now, and I can't make sense of it. And when I go fishing, there are big fish in the water, and what I'm saying is that there's good players out there, and essentially they should be scoring big runs. If they're getting those 50s, if they're getting those 60s, they should be able to push on, but we haven't been able to see it just yet. And the pitches have looked really good. Like, barring Sharjah, the pitches have been really good. There's been maybe a little bit of pace, maybe a little bit of bounce in Dubai, but they've been really good. Batters are just are not finding a way in the middle order, and that goes to every team. If you think about it, Mumbai's middle order, all the way through, all of the teams, they just, those finishers that we're so used to seeing scoring a lot of runs in the back end, they're just not coming to the party.
Sanjay?
And you've got a quote for tomorrow, Ronak. Dave Steyn says, "I'm a fisherman." So that's your quote for tomorrow.
I catch a lot of big fish though. So.
Yeah, yeah. I'd rather take a quote on Venkatesh Iyer, to be honest, because he looks like he's looking like the real deal, and there's no better time to make a mark than before perhaps the biggest auction in IPL history in a couple of months. Sanjay,
Oh my word.
I'm thinking 12 to 14 crores.
we're already calling it. Yeah,
Yeah, because this is not a kind of a fluke show, because I was looking at his first class numbers, and his listed record is outstanding. His average is 47, strikes at 92, 90, mid 90s. Then his T20 record, domestic, not counting the IPL, is also fantastic. There again, his strike rate is pretty high. The average is 37. So this is a guy who knows how to bat, first class batting average of 36, plus he's a bowler. And in the last match, he showed that he can bowl the tough overs too. So he's somebody that's going to fetch a very high price. Today, I focused a little on the way he bats. Very interesting that he plays a lot off the back foot. Looks to pull, looks to play the cut. I mean, there was one shot that he played against Fabian Allen, just rocked
yeah.
back and punched him, wide of long on to his left. So this is a batter who's not going down the pitch and trying to hit, force it, everything here. He's staying on the back foot and cutting, pulling, and then he's got the big stride forward. That is a tall man, means that he's got those long levers as well. So I see him more as a really qualified T20 game changer rather than somebody who's having a couple of good weeks.
And we're seeing that through just sheer consistency, aren't we? We've seen scores of 41, 53, an 18, a 14, and we got a half century today now from Venkatesh Iyer. So this isn't just someone who's out there having a dash like a Sunil Narayandale. Suddenly looks the part of an IPL opening bat.
Yeah, I don't know his numbers outside of the IPL, and I don't really care about them because all I need to do is watch this guy face 10 balls, and I can tell you immediately that he's got great skill and he knows what he's doing. That's all you have to do. Good players, you can see it immediately. You look at AB de Villiers, you look at Virat Kohli. You don't have to tell me what their first class or test averages. I can see them and I can go, these guys are good batters. And Venkatesh Iyer is one of them. He uses his levers really well. He seems to be a tall guy. I've never met him before, and probably why he's so good and nimble off his back foot. He's not a heavy guy. He's super light on his feet, even with his length, and he's able to move quickly, and that's why he's able to rock back and use off his back foot, and then rock forward and use those long levers and those long arms to hit a long ball if he wants to. But he's also very smart, and he plays the game really well. Head still. He just looks the part, doesn't he? I'm not even a batter, and I can tell you, if I was bowling to him, I could tell you that he looks the part. He looks wonderful, almost West Indian-like, with a little bit of flow about him. Wonderful player to watch.
And we can't be blamed to get a little carried away because the novelty in Indian cricket is the seam bowling all rounder. It fetches premium value. And you can literally think of two names that do that right now, Hardik Pandya and Shivam Dubey. One doesn't get into his team, one's not doing one discipline, yet they both bat in the middle. Venkatesh Iyer, Sanjay, how soon before the Indian selectors start looking? It's only 3 or 4 games, but this is such a novelty. I'm already seeing some tweets saying, get him in ahead of Hardik Pandya because Pandya's not bowling. I'm going to leave those out. But I'd like for you to tell me what you channel as, the path for a Venkatesh Iyer because, his skill set is unique.
T20 is funny, unpredictable. IPL is, I mean, Sam Curran is not in the playing 11 these days for CSK. Who would have thought that, But it happens. So who knows where this guy is going to be a couple of years later in the IPL? There's no doubt that he'll fetch a high price in the next auction. But to answer your question on current form, because that is critical. The self-confidence and the batting rhythm, same kind of conditions. I don't think they, they can pick him in that Indian team, but he's certainly better than Shivam Dube. And at this stage, he's also bowling along with batting, so more value than Hardik Pandya. But if Hardik Pandya is fit and bowling, obviously he has more of a pedigree and track record. But this is not a guy, we saw Shivam Dube as well play a couple of good innings, played for India too. This guy is better than that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, looks like the selector's already on his doorbell, aren't they, for Venkatesh Iyer? At some point, that door will be answered. But like you say, Dale, he looks the part. It's not just about us getting carried away because the IPL is not international cricket. International cricket, you'll have 4 or 5 world-class bowlers at you, but we've seen him take on Bolt and Bumrah against Mumbai. He's seems at home against Mohammad Shami. It seems like
And
he'll
against
be okay
spin,
with that.
there was a little bit of a question mark in one of the innings where it's spin, whether he can handle. But today he showed he's got absolutely no
Yeah.
issues with that too. Please, Dave.
Dale? Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think he reads spin really well too. You can see when Bishnoi is bowling his googly to him, he was rocking back and not looking to cut him. He was actually rocking back once or twice. He was looking to hit him over extra cover, and that's the kind of shot that you see. AB de Villiers, he started to play it really well. He'd rock back. Virat Kohli does that really well, and there's only a handful of players that I can see that play it confidently, and he was trying to do it. He missed it. Granted, but it's the thinking. He's a young man and he's thinking that's where he wants to score his shot. He's not looking for the easy option, which is just back foot cut or something like that. So he looks the part. Need I say more? He's scoring runs. Long may it continue for him in India.
Well said.
Right. My apologies. Let me get my guests back. I lost my voice for a second. I found it again. I was keeping an eye to see what if someone related to the Punjab Kings. Listen, Dale Steyn and Sanjay Manjrekar saying send Rahul in at 5 in the chase, but it's not happening. I am Rahul. I've opened. What sort of role do we see Narayan and Chakravarti having now? Sanjay up front or reserved for the death to try and have an impact in the absence of Lockie Ferguson?
I think Morgan, and I would also like to see, like, how Saudi goes. Give Mavi an
Hmm.
early over and see his form, and take it from there, because you want to use the 8 overs of Sunil Narayan extremely judiciously, and it will depend.
Yeah.
If somebody's having a good time, he'll maybe bowl an extra over and get some overs out of them. But he also has to protect the likes of Mavi and stuff like that. This is Morgan now under pressure, test as well, with Russell missing now, Lockie
Hmm.
Ferguson.
Yeah, Saudi's got the new ball in hand. You'd go with that, Dale? First the seamers and hold Chakravarti and Narayan. They may have to do some heavy lifting at the end.
Yeah, they'll do the heavy lifting, and Southey is a big swing bowler. So if he's going to get any swing, he's going to get it in the first or second over, pushing it if he bowls the third. If he opens in the third over. So give him the brand new ball, see if he can swing and nick one out. Both right-handed batters, so he'll be enjoying that too.
All right. Do we have a prediction now? 160 is a tough one, but Sanjay, you're saying KKR on form?
They're missing Lockie and Russell, so those there could be one or two big overs. Why don't I? It's a difficult one. Can I bail out of this one? No
No,
prediction.
no.
No.
Answer
Okay, then
it.
I'll go with KKR, slightly
And-
unconvincingly, but go with track record.
All right, fair enough, fair enough. Let's go to Dale Steyn.
I was probably also going to go with KKR, but just to keep it entertaining, I'll go with Punjab and say that they're
Yeah,
gonna
that's
they're
it.
gonna pull one off tonight. Pooran's gonna score some runs. They're gonna take it to the death. They're gonna take it deep, but Punjab might get over the line.
That's it.
I
That's it.
don't know
It's
how
not the
much
average
how much credence can you give to that prediction coming, especially because it's coming from a fisherman.
Well, he's fishing. He's
Had to
fishing for a
get that out.
Punjab.
It came in and
Yeah. Yeah. Let's leave it there. Gents, these predictions make absolutely no difference. The quality of the conversation is before this useless question of predictions, which actually has no bearing. It's just to have some fun with the two of you at the end of the game. So let's talk then. I think there'll be a lot of things to talk about here. One will be KL Rahul, another will be Narayan and Varun, another could be Owen Morgan, the batter and captain, depending on how this result goes. I think that's a conversation regardless with Dale Steyn and Sanjay Manjrekar. Do join us then on Maruti Suzuki Presents ESPN Cricket for T20 Timeout.
Thank you.
We call it people technology.